So without further ado, let's hit the montage button and paint the sides of this Jeep. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and I have some bad news. My dad had to drive home, so no more help. It was awesome having him on the channel. We knocked out so much stuff. We got this tail section piece knocked out and so strong. It is awesome. Definitely gonna need to do some body fill down there, but this video is gonna be all about bodywork, and I'm really hoping to knock out a ton today. So the goal for this video is gonna be to remount this fender out a little bit. As you can see here, there's a huge seam here. The other side's golden, so this one, I'm hoping the bolts come out without breaking. I gotta loosen them up down here and then hopefully pull that out so it's as even as it can be. Once that's done, I wanna start taking this Jeep panel by panel, going through, stripping all the paint off, fixing any body work that needs to be done, and then just block sanding and flowing each panel of the Jeep and getting it to where it needs to be. So hopefully on this video, I'm hoping to have everything stripped along this whole side and the other side, get these patches completely finished up, and get the whole side of the Jeep primed in. If I can knock that out in this video, I'm gonna be so jazzed, so excited. Now the race has officially begun because I am under quite the time crunch right now. My 1967 Ford Mustang Fastback is finally entering the final paint phase, and it should be done any week now. I think the next 2 to 3 weeks, I have to go up and pick it up and bring it back. So you may see that sitting in a corner back there once it's back in the garage, and I am so excited. That car's been in the family for like 25 plus years. It's always been a rust bucket, never drivable. So we're getting back a completely painted shell, and we're gonna be reassembling the whole thing on this channel. So all you Mustang subscribers, comment down below. I wanna hear from you. I am so excited to pick that up, and I have a huge video planned for the pickup. We're gonna get drone shots. It's gonna be awesome, so you won't wanna miss it. But in order to get the Mustang back, I wanna get this sucker painted and done, so at least all that dust and all that nastiness won't be getting on the Mustang. And it's so nice having all the space to work on the Jeep and do the body work. So when I have another car sitting in the corner back here, it's really gonna make everything really tight. However, a fully painted Jeep next to a 67 Fastback, it's gonna be like the dream loadout. I'm super excited. So with that out of the way, let's try to get this fender aligned here and get it to where it needs to be. I just love when the first task of the day goes off exactly how I planned. We got this seam all lined up, looking really good here. I just loosened the bolts in the back, kind of pulled it out where I need to go. And I do need to do some seam sealer, kind of scrape out between all these seams and then add in some seam sealer just to seal the metal from any water getting in. So we're gonna make sure to knock that out before I go in and prime everything. Now we can start working on our body filler. I have all my tools here. I ended up picking up a new tool after watching a ton of YouTube videos online. This is called a cheese grater, and basically it allows you to lay out your Bondo a little extra thick, and then you can take off any seams and stuff with this thing super fast before you start sacrificing your sandpaper. I also picked up some 40 grit sandpaper here instead of using the 80 I'm hoping I can knock it down with this a lot faster since it's so much coarser. To move forward with this, let's go ahead and get this all sanded down a little bit more. I've got a bit too much built up over here, and then we'll see any high and low spots and kind of go from there. Wow, that was so dusty. I definitely got carried away. I ended up stripping the whole side of the Jeep here, and then back here, hopefully you'll be able to see it in the time lapse. Back here there was a ton of Bono just blasting everywhere. Literally it coated everything. Look how thick this stuff is. super, super crazy. So I'm definitely gonna need to add some more body filler back here, back where it was, get it all sanded down and prepped. But it feels good to have the whole side opened up. I was able to get into all these little crevices. These stripping discs worked out awesome. They make a humongous mess, but it actually went pretty quick. I was pretty impressed. I think I went through 3 of them, maybe 4 of them over there, but everything really turned out well. If you look over here, I will have some welding to do where there was a little bit of rust, and then I found one other little spot here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get those welded up and ground down. That's kind of the next step to make sure we're kind of prepared. And then once that's done, we'll probably start applying some more body filler, kind of evening out these panels and getting them where we wanna be. Again, the goal is to get this whole side sprayed in with some acid etch primer today. This thing kept getting in the way and we're gonna need to paint this separately. So I figured I'd go ahead and take it off. It's not too bad. Let's go put it away. All right, so I got the roll bar off and this is gross. I'm super happy I ended up taking this off. I did not think it would be this gross underneath. So definitely gonna need to do some more stripping and then I'll probably paint that as well. Well, we made quick work of the 2 patches, so now let's go ahead and hit the whole side with 80 grit, wax and grease remover, and then we'll apply some of our body filler. Massive shout out to my wife for hooking me up with this glass to mix my Bondo on. She's an artist, and I figured out the cleaner the surface you mix your stuff on, the better it goes on the metal. All right, I got everything blended in here. Definitely gonna need to cheese grade this stuff like this. It should come right off, but I got everything kind of plumbed in the 3 main areas that were super uneven and definitely needed it. I'll definitely need to take a few passes over here on this rear quarter area just because it's so crumpled. So we're gonna get this 1 layer on just to kind of give us a foundation. Hopefully after we sand it up, it'll look good. That said, while this is drying, let's bounce over here. I really want to strip this whole side of the Jeep. Up here is actually not near as bad as the other side, so I'm hoping it's a lot easier to work with. And hopefully we don't have too much other body work to do, but let's go ahead, get this removed, get this whole side stripped and prepped, and we'll see what's underneath all of this mess. I just bought another mask here. The old one got gross so fast. This stuff is so dusty. Well, that was a dirty job. As you can see from my face, I am covered in dust. It is literally everywhere. I'm gonna need to get some water soon. Got the whole side cleaned up here, got all this stripped down, and I really wanna get the painting on this Jeep right. I know when it comes to painting a vehicle, prep and buildup is everything. And if you skip any steps, it's gonna look horrible when it's done. And I really want this to look primo, like no other Jeep on the road. So I'm gonna make sure to go through all the steps I need to get this thing perfect. No matter how many tries it takes me, we're gonna get this baby locked down. Also, I forgot to give y'all a little update. I may have picked up a car. As you all know, I sold my Tesla months ago. Jake drove me around for a few months while I kind of figured out what I wanted, and I ended up going with the Mini Cooper, and I am thankful for the 4-cylinder right about now when gas prices are so high. It's like driving a go-kart, so not so bad. Definitely not a Tesla, but I had to put some money towards the Jeep, and I am super pumped to get this baby taken care of. So everything turned out pretty well, stripping the paint. As you can see here, a little bit of the same holes as last time, but lucky for us, I stripped the paint a little bit up here and we are good to go. No holes up there. So we have a little patch to do here. And then I was looking at this side. I'm not sure if you can all see it. It is so, like little bits of wave in here. I'm not sure the best way to take care of that. So my Mustang guy told me he does about 6 coats of high fill primer just to kind of cover everything. And then he does his sanding and then he sees any low spots after that. So something like this that has all these little itty bitty waves, I'm gonna go ahead and hope the high fill primer takes care of it. We're gonna see how that comes out. Stuff like this where it's actually dented in, I'm gonna try to work it out as best I can. And then do a little bit of skim coat just to kind of cover it up. Sand it out and it should be good. But now that this side's done, we're gonna go ahead and start block sanding this side. Now, I did cheese grade all of the body filler, but I forgot one important step, and that was to make sure to hit it while it's still kind of tacky. So I was able to hit it while it was still tacky, kind of cheese graded it down to just the general area I wanted it. So if you're doing any cheese grading, make sure it's still kind of tacky. Otherwise, I think it's gonna be really hard to get them. So let's go crazy on this. Let's start sanding. If you've been watching all these Jeep videos and you're enjoying them and you're not subscribed, consider hitting that subscribe button. It means a lot, and keep watching. Phew, I am tired. All that sanding is mostly done. I've definitely made a lot of progress. Let's check out what we got going on here so far. Right here, I would consider this 100% done. That was an easy patch. I followed it up with some 120 grit, and that really turned out well. All the edges feathered in beautifully. Small dents are so much easier to take care of. Which brings us to this rear section. It started to feather in up here, so I'm definitely making progress. There's just so much that's kind of tweaked about this corner. And like I said, I really think CJ fenders and stuff are just kind of wavy from the get-go. So I'm not gonna go too crazy here. I do have to add a little bit down here. I noticed this is kind of a straight line and then kind of pulls in here at the bottom. So I definitely want to bring that in line through to the bottom of the fender. And then I've got some little spots here I got to fill in. But this side is mostly good to go. I still need to weld this in, so I'll probably knock that out next. And then back here, I need to take care. There's like a little bit of a bump here. Probably got to take care of that. Knock that in a bit, then obviously work on our little hole here. But otherwise, this whole tail section is actually pretty straight, looking pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave it, and then we'll probably end up primering this in when we do the other side. It's coming along really well. A lot of work, a lot of sanding. They do make an air file, and apparently it's like this, but it's air controlled. So you can basically block sand with like a sander like this, and it works out really well. I don't know, I've never used one. If any of you have used one, comment below. Is that worth picking up? Because right now, it's looking like it would be a lifesaver. Well, after like 4 hours of Bondo and sanding and body filler and sanding later, I think it's finally at a good point where I can hit it with some acid etch primer and then hopefully some high build primer. Looking here, this all came out really well. This ended up being a very light, thin coat here just to kind of level everything off. And then I ended up using the electric DA sander a little bit and then just some block sanding as well. Down here, again, I think everything feathered out really well. I think I have it at a really good point now. So I'm gonna hit it with some primer primer, and then hopefully when we come back through and sand it with the block, it will be mostly straight. I may need to come out and add some later, but we'll see about that. Everything just looks so much better, so smooth. I think we're ready, so I'm gonna go ahead and tape off some of the area, put up plastic, start wiping it down, and then we're gonna see what it takes to actually hit this with some primer. I'm super pumped. What up, guys? It is the next day here, the next morning actually, and we got a little bit of snow last night, kind of crazy. I got the heater going. We're all ready to rock. It smells like dust and Bondo in here. So we're gonna double check these sides. I actually got the Jeep wrapped up last night, and then we're gonna hopefully hit it with some acid etch primer, and then roll right into the high build primer, which apparently you put on a lot of coats of that, and that's what kind of sands out a lot of those scratch marks and other things. So we're gonna load it up this morning, see how it turns out, and I'm excited to see how it looks. Got the gun set up here. We're running 22 pounds of air pressure. I got some of these knobs set according to how I saw some people doing them on YouTube. So looking pretty good. I'm probably gonna test spray those cardboard boxes over there just to make sure everything looks good. I was watching some videos and there's a special kind of spray pattern. You kind of want it to hit and then be evenly dispersed around it. So I'll make sure to show you guys that. Hopefully I won't have to do too much tuning on this guy. The air regulator that came with it, I could have been missing something, I don't know, but it had a lot of air escaping from this little hole. So I ended up switching to the one, I think it came off the Raptor lining gun, but we should be good. Got the right pressure going in. So now we're gonna get our mixtures mixed up. So we're gonna start with acid etch primer. We're gonna shoot the whole Jeep in acid etch, or I guess just the sides that I painted. And then we're going to run to a high fill primer after that. So we're gonna run some lacquer thinner through the gun, kind of clean it out. We're not going to base coat or clear coat, so we don't need to make sure the gun is like absolutely spotless. But when I'm done shooting today, I will disassemble and clean the gun. Apparently that's extremely important, so these little holes and stuff don't get clogged up with junk. In the high fill primer, we are going to load the Jeep up with coats. I think that'll make the sanding phase a lot easier. And there's just some little waves in the side here that I think will work itself out well. So I still have to oil, grease, and wax remove the sides of the Jeep, but I'm gonna do that right before I shoot, just so we have a pretty clean surface to work from. So hopefully this all goes off without any issues. I'm super nervous. I painted a motorcycle back in the day, but this is all so new to me, which is really tough because everything is taking way longer than I thought, and I'm just failing over and over. But you know what? That's a part of learning, and I have to embrace that. And then the next time I do it, I'm gonna be so much more confident going into it. So this is the learning phase. I've talked to a lot of you all via the comments that you're just starting your Jeep project, or maybe you don't have kind of these skill sets built up already. Well, rest assured, I am with you in that. I am new to all of this, and hopefully you can learn from what I'm doing. Ask questions, I'd love to respond. So without further ado, let's hit the montage button and paint the sides of this Jeep. The acid etch primer is done. Apparently you want to let this stuff dry completely, otherwise the shiny spots are going to come through on the high build. So we're going to let this sit for a while, dry out. I do have some small runs that I'll probably need to block sand just really quick take care of. I don't think it's a huge deal because a lot of this texture is going to be covered up with the high build primer when we start layering on that. So not too bad, I'm happy. I mean, it covered all of the metal areas, and now we'll have a very, very good surface for the paint to stick to. So far, super exciting seeing kind of color on the Jeep. And I really think this will give me a much better kind of vantage and idea to see any body waves or stuff that we have to take care of. So we're gonna let this cook in the garage, crank up the heater, let it dry completely, then we'll follow it up with some high build primer. Wow, this high build primer really turned out so good here. Definitely some little imperfections and things that I found that I need to take care of. But overall, I think this will give us the foundation we need to really see all those imperfections so we can fix them. Like right here, we have a bunch of spot welds. We'll have to block sand that, and then if it starts to come through, we'll know we got to do a little skim coat. But otherwise, really turned out well. I'm happy to be on to this next phase and see where we go from here. Well, that went off without a hitch. That turned out absolutely amazing, and I definitely have some areas I need to block sand and kind of figure out maybe some low spots we need to patch in. But that about wraps up this video. I hope you all enjoyed the ride as we got the side of the Jeep primed in. It's super exciting. Hit that subscribe button to see us in next week's video as we start to block sand out the side and the tailgate. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. Enjoy your week, and we'll see you in the next one.